It hurts so much seeing Sein leave the party for this week's episode of Frieren. It's legitimately sad. Like, this whole segment here, it just, like, he may have only been around for a few episodes at this point, like 4 to 5 episodes, but he was just such a good party member. He was someone that really evened out the group. Helped out with Frieren, helped out with Stark, helped out with Fern, and I don't know, just his whole role in the party was very important. And seeing that this is his farewell, that he leaves the party, he's going on his own adventure, it's legitimately sad. And I think that this once again goes to show another aspect of the story of Frieren. That, not everything is long lasting. Eventually, everything must come to an end. And in this case, Sein saying his farewells and traveling alone, it was something that eventually would happen, either now for this episode or at the end of the story. But eventually, the characters would part ways. And it's a very sad moment, but at the same time, it's a new journey. It's a new destination for Sein, and how he is someone that is trying to grow as a person, someone that's trying to become a hero, someone that is trying to find his friend. It's a legitimately emotional moment for this week's episode, and it just shout outs to just this excellent scene. The storyboarding, to the animators, to the music, everything about this is legitimately grade A quality that honestly blew me away. For something that is very simplistic as just a farewell scene, they did a good job with it. Now, with that being said, though, there is a lot of things going on with this episode in terms of themes and messages, and one of the big messages here that this episode tries to provide us is that how a lot of people don't like being treated like a kid. For instance, there's this whole segment here where, Frieren and Sein is talking with each other, and he's like, why do you treat me like a kid? Why do you always do this? And she's like, well, you are a kid to me, because it's true. Frieren's like over 1,000 years old. Anyone to her that isn't an elf, so to speak, or a long living creature is pretty much a child. And even if you're, let's say, an 80-year-old dude, Freeren's gonna act like you're a child, like you pretty much are to her. So it's an interesting dynamic here of how she continuously treats people like kids. And Sein was like, why do you treat me like a kid? And she's like, you are one. And he's like, I guess that makes sense. And he doesn't really argue against it. While we have the second half of the episode, we have this whole little segment here where, Fern, she's sick, and Frieren holds her hand, and this whole little dynamic showcases that Fern has this very childish or childlike quality to her, to where she is someone that, wants to be comforted, her hand held when she's not feeling good, she feels sick, but at the same time, she's very, I guess, self-conscious about being viewed that way by others, aka Stark, and when she's like, you're embarrassing me, and then quickly let go and turned over, it showcases once again another aspect that people don't like being viewed as kids, even if they're now basically an adult. And even in this world, Fern is still technically a child. She's not a full adult yet, but it doesn't change the fact that, Fern, she is growing, and she wants to be treated as her age, or as an adult, while Frieren, she cannot possibly ever understand this. She can never understand, treating someone like an adult when they're all like children to her. And the whole conversation with Stark at the end of the episode, and getting to get this little memory or flashback sequence of Himmel and Frieren, kind of opens the door up for why maybe Fern acted like the way she did towards, Stark and her. And let's get into that one, okay? So clearly there's messages going on with, viewing someone like a kid or not. And Frieren realized the reason why Fern felt that way is because Stark was there. Like, for instance, if Stark didn't appear and mention that or whatever, Fern would have allowed her hand to be held and everything would have been fine. But this entire sequence basically showcases embarrassment of the one you love or care about, holding your hand, treating you really well, or, just treating you like a kid. It makes you embarrassed when other people see it. Like, when you see the whole group kind of come in and they see, Frieren sick here, she realizes the emotions that Fern must have been feeling. So, I don't know, something about this is legitimately great, and I don't know, I love this. This is a great episode. It's a very simplistic message and all that's being on or put on display here, but I think that it's just done very, very well. Now, if we're pushing all of that aside, there's a few other things that I do want to talk about as well, and that is the fact that, I love how in this episode there is a lot of good Fern and Stark moments. And I think that one of the big fundamental things that the story's been trying to do in these episodes as of late is showcase that Stark and Fern's relationship is very similar to Himmel and Frieren's relationship. However, there is some core differences here. Frieren obviously, has feelings for Himmel. It's very apparent after everything we have seen. But it's clear after the journey ended and all that, they never really got together. And they never got to experience those romantic moments that they should have after the slaying of the Demon King. And it's clear that Frieren, to a certain degree, probably regrets it. There's probably some deep down regret in her heart. She wishes she would have followed through with some of the feelings or understood what she was feeling at that time. And her watching over Fern and Stark, it's like she's trying to help them out, but she doesn't really know how to help them out, which is why she was asking Sein in this episode to mediate the problem of the argument, because she doesn't know how to handle it, because she's never properly able to get she's never been able to get a proper romantic relationship off the ground. So I think that it's very interesting. I love that, and how Stark and Fern is a contrast to that dynamic, and how they are growing, and we see that they're very close. And I hope that it doesn't end up in the exact same way as like what happened with Frieren and Himmel, but I do hope that they get together. And this episode was definitely showing that they are really in love and they should just marry already. Absolutely love it. It's a great episode, honestly, of Frieren. Now, with all that being said, I'm happy to have Frieren Fridays back. I mean, last week when this episode, didn't come out, I was just like, oh crap, holiday season, no new episodes. I was a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit bummed when, we did not have an episode last week, because I've gotten so used to watching these episodes every single Friday. When it didn't appear, I was like, man, that's kind of sad, because, I don't know, I love my knife ears at Frieren. She's just too cute. But, yeah, I don't know. I wanted to talk about this episode because it was just dumb fun. There was some great little moments, sad moments, like typical Frieren fashion. Great art and animation on display. It's a very wholesome series that continuously leaves me with a smile on my face and wanting more every single week. But, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I just wanted to talk about that. Tell me your thoughts. Did you enjoy this episode of Frieren? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Be honest in the comments below. And if you ship Stark and Fern, leave me a like on the video, because I am definitely all for that. But okay, be safe, stay healthy, everyone. I love ya. Chibi out.